Breaking news! The Philadelphia Eagles made another bold move in free agency, and this one could end up being a steal. Howie Roseman, known for his calculated and high-potential acquisitions, has done it again. This new signing is causing a lot of discussion among fans and analysts. I'll tell you all the details in a moment, but first make sure you hit that like button if you believe the Eagles will win the Super Bowl again. Man, this isn't just optimism, it's a real feeling. Seeing Howie acting with such dedication and intelligence makes me feel like bigger things are ahead. If you're also happy with the current Eagles management, hit that like button hard. If possible, write something like, "Thanks Howie, for everything. Go Birds!" Yes, my friends, a new signing has arrived. The Eagles have signed former New York Giants edge rusher Azeez Ojulari to a one-year, $4 million contract. And here's the thing, this might be one of the smartest signings of the offseason. Ojulari, just 24, was widely considered the best edge rusher on the market. When healthy, he's a force to be reckoned with. He has the twitch, the bend, and the size, and his pass rush ability has never been in doubt. But here's where things get interesting. His career has been plagued by injuries. We're not talking about the kind of serious, career-ending injuries, but the kind of nagging injuries that keep players out long enough to keep them from truly excelling. Let's talk about the numbers. As a rookie, the Giants must have thought they had won the lottery. 8 sacks, 13 quarterback hits. Those are real game-changing stats. Then the injuries started piling up. 7 games into his second year, and he still managed 5.5 sacks. The last 2 seasons, 11 games each, with sack totals fluctuating. But if you watched him in 2024, you'd see flashes of that elite pass rush potential again. 6 sacks in just 11 games. If he had played a full season, we could be looking at a double-digit sack guy. And now, he's an Eagle. This signing fits perfectly into Roseman's approach this offseason. Let expensive players walk, replace them with young, high-upside guys on cheap deals, and maintain cap flexibility for future extensions. That's exactly what he's doing here. If Ojulari stays healthy and produces, the Eagles just got a premium pass rusher at a discount. If he doesn't, it's only a one-year deal. Low risk, high reward. Think about it. Philadelphia is stacking up talent while keeping an eye on the future. They're bringing in guys like Ojulari, Josh Uche, and Adoree Jackson on team-friendly deals. And on top of that, they've got one of the best player development programs in the league. Vic Fangio, the new defensive coordinator, has a track record of maximizing defensive talent. Pair Ojulari with a defensive line that already features Jalen Carter, Haason Reddick, and Josh Sweat, and suddenly, this front is looking lethal. But it's not just about talent, it's about culture. There's a strong Georgia Bulldogs pipeline running through this Eagles roster. Ojulari now joins a group of ex-Bulldogs who've helped shape the identity of this team. And if you remember, Nick Sirianni himself talked about how bringing in Georgia players has positively impacted the locker room. There's familiarity, a winning pedigree, and a standard of excellence that has carried over from college to the NFL. And let's be honest, there's also some humor in this. Howie Roseman has made a habit of picking up former Giants. At this rate, New York fans must be wondering if they should just call him the Giants' second GM. But here's the reality. Roseman is finding value where others see risk, and he's taking advantage of it. Now, here's where you come in. Is this one of the best signings of the Eagles offseason? Do you think Ojulari can finally put together a healthy season and become the pass rusher the Giants once thought he'd be? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's talk about it. Because one thing's for sure, if Ojulari hits his ceiling, this Eagles defense is going to be scary. But let's take a deeper dive into what this means for the Eagles defense heading into the 2025 season. Because when you look at the full picture, it's clear that Howie Roseman is playing chess while other teams are playing checkers. The Eagles defensive front was already one of the strongest in the NFL. Jalen Carter is a rising superstar, Jordan Davis is an absolute force in the middle, and Haason Reddick has been a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks. But there was one issue. The pass rush lost some of its depth after free agency. That's why this move is so critical. Ojulari doesn't need to come in and be the guy immediately. He doesn't have to carry the weight of a franchise like he did at times in New York. He just has to come in, stay healthy, and do what he does best, get after the quarterback. And that's where Vic Fangio comes in. Fangio's defensive scheme has always thrived on disciplined, versatile pass rushers who can create pressure without needing to send extra blitzers. That's why this signing makes so much sense. Ojulari isn't just joining a talented defensive front, he's joining a system that will put him in the best position to succeed. He won't have to play every snap. He won't have to be a savior. He'll be part of a well-oiled machine that rotates fresh pass rushers in and out, keeping everyone at peak performance throughout the season. Now, let's talk about contract value, because this is where Roseman's genius really shines. A one-year, $4 million deal for a pass rusher with Ojulari's potential? That's a bargain. Compare that to some of the other contracts being handed out to edge rushers this offseason. offseason, and you start to realize just how savvy this move was. If Ojulari balls out, the Eagles get elite production for pennies on the dollar. If he struggles with injuries again, it's a minimal financial hit. It's the definition of a win-win situation. But here's something else to think about. What happens if Ojulari stays healthy for a full season? Because if he does, we're talking about a player who could easily hit double-digit sacks in this system. The Eagles' defense is loaded with talent, meaning Ojulari won't be drawing constant double teams like he did in New York. Offensive lines are already focused on stopping guys like Reddick, Carter, and Sweat. That opens up opportunities for Ojulari to feast on one-on-one matchups. And when he's healthy, he's proven that he can win those matchups at a high rate. And let's not forget the long-term implications of this signing. Roseman isn't just thinking about this season, he's setting up the Eagles for sustained success. The team has some big contract decisions coming up. Young stars like Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, and Reed Blankenship will all need new deals in the future. That's why the Eagles are making smart, calculated signings now, so they can keep their core intact while still adding talent around them. This is what great teams do. They don't just chase the biggest names in free agency. They find value. They make smart, under-the-radar moves that keep them competitive year after year. And that's exactly what the Eagles are doing here. So now, it's over to you. What do you think of this signing? Is Ojulari about to have a breakout season in Philadelphia? Or do you have concerns about his durability? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's get the conversation going. Because one thing's for sure, this Eagles defense just got even more dangerous. And let's be real, this move doesn't just make the Eagles defense better. It sends a message to the rest of the NFC, a message to the Dallas Cowboys, the San Francisco 49ers, and every other contender that thinks they can get past this team. The Eagles aren't just trying to win, they're trying to dominate. Think about what Howie Roseman has done this offseason. Saquon Barkley, Josh Uche, Adoree Jackson, Azeez Ojulari. These aren't just random signings, they're pieces to a bigger puzzle. Roseman is building a team that is deep, versatile, and ready to go the distance. And if you don't believe me, just look at how the Eagles have structured their contracts. They're not locking themselves into massive long-term deals that could hurt them down the road. Instead, they're taking calculated risks, short-term, high-upside contracts that allow them to remain competitive while keeping financial flexibility. And let's circle back to Ojulari for a second, because here's what excites me the most. He's walking into a situation where he's surrounded by winners. This is a guy who's been stuck on struggling Giants teams for the past few years. Now, he's stepping into a locker room filled with championship-caliber players, with guys who have been to the biggest stage and know what it takes to win. That kind of environment changes players. It pushes them to be better. And if Ojulari embraces that, if he buys into the culture that Nick Sirianni and his staff have built, we could be looking at a career resurgence. Now, here's where I want to hear from you. Is Ojulari the missing piece on this defense? Do you think he'll thrive under Vic Fangio? And most importantly, do you believe this Eagles team is ready to make another Super Bowl run? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let's talk about it. Because one thing's for sure, Howie Roseman just made the Eagles better. Again.